Hey guys, what is up? It's your boy Omega SMG coming at you with a new video. I'm trying out something different. Uh, just wanted to try out a new editing style. You see, I have a face cam. I'm going to be doing some stuff with my vocals for this video, making it try and sound a bit less awful. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started on this video. This video is all about 808 processing. Because I feel like in my past videos I haven't done a very good job of explaining it in my beat breakdowns. It's always really simple, and on my own tracks I really don't do that. So this is going to be a bit more advanced. So if you don't even know how to make an 808, then I wouldn't recommend this video. However, if you are at the point where you're like just applying distortion to every 808 you do and that's it, then this is a video for you. It'll help you move forward in your 808 game. So let's go ahead and start off with the 808 that we'll be rocking today. It's this 808 right here. It's my YouTube 808 preset. I'll go ahead and leave that in the description below. But pretty much it is just a sine wave with an envelope on it to affect the volume and another one for the pitch so that it gets the punch. But this is what it sounds like dry. Very simple 808. It has a tiny bit of grit from it because I'm using the analog BD sine instead of an actual sine, so getting some grit from that, and just the way I have the sound set up originally, using the filter as sort of a volume increase, that's also going to give it some more distortion. But yeah, anyways, you can watch the video, it'll be in the card. But very quiet 808, very subtle. For this track, I wanted an 808 that was extremely powerful. Originally, I was going for like an XXX Tentacion vibe, but it ended up working out a lot better as just like my own thing. But I started off with some distortion. So I use FabFilter Saturn for this because I didn't feel like opening up Patcher, if I'm being honest. But pretty much I'll go ahead and explain what I do. So for those of you who do not know, FabFilter Saturn is a multi-band distortion plugin. It just makes it so that you can set certain EQ points in where you want to distort them, where you don't want to distort them, how much you want to distort certain points, and all that jazz. Yeah, it is a really great tool. Really advanced saturation plugin. But anyways, so I go ahead and I started by making two bands. I made one for my high end and one for my low end. As you can see, my low end, it is not getting any of that distortion. It is going to be completely dry. I'll go ahead and play the low end. Yeah, that sub is staying completely intact. I don't want to be messing with the sub. I just want to make it so that I can have more high end, a lot more aggression in the 808, but without having the pitfalls of taking away from the low end. So I just leave the low end completely intact, keep a sine wave by multi-band distortion. For this, I personally use Crunchy Amp with the drive all the way up because it sounds beautiful. I'll go ahead and play that for you guys and let you hear. Yeah, it's a very full distortion sound, but as you can hear, a bit lacking in the sub. Okay, so we're back after that little interruption. My phone battery was low, so it stopped recording. So I said that if I distort it, there's a real lack of sub, and that's only kind of true. It's just like the sound was already really quiet, so it's just taking focus away from the sub that was already really quiet. So what better way to fix that than an EQ? So this is an instance of FabFilter Pro Q2. As you can see, I'm boosting the ever-living crap out of the low end and adding a tiny bit of air at the really high end, then cutting out the really low frequencies because I don't need them. I'm just cutting them out so I can get it louder. However, This is a linear phase EQ. Pretty much this is just shifting over the sound a tiny bit so that it isn't messing with phase when it does this. Pretty much with and without linear phase, it's a much tighter 808 with linear phase. So I'll go and play this. You can't hear the difference now because not all the other effects are on it. However, when all the other effects are on there, it is a night and day difference. And I like linear phase EQs for my 808. So keeping on the trend of FabFilter, let's go to Pro L. It is a limiting plugin. So I turned up the ever-living crap out of the gain. 12.8 decibels is extremely loud for an 808 gain. However, it was a really quiet sound, and I didn't want to go too far with this, so I just turned up the attack all the way, lowered the release all the way, and then just let it be, because I just wanted this plugin to do its thing and work its magic. Because a lot of the plugins that you will use, they will have just really good presets, really good defaults, and you really don't need to mess with them to get a pleasing sound. So this is with the limiter. Without. So pretty much what the limiter is doing is it's just going to be taking that sound, it's pushing it up against a brick wall, and it's not letting everything that's really loud keep on getting louder. It's going to make it so that everything's around the same volume. So if you pay attention to volumes, everything gets a lot louder. However, the sub of the sound gets a lot more heavy than the high end of the sound. However, they both end up balancing out. So when I was listening to this, I thought that it needed something a bit more interesting, because like, it was a really solid 808, but anyone can throw on some saturation. Anyone can do this. It's not that impressive, nor am I going to act like it is. But then I'm just like, what is something that people don't do on 808s very often? Because, like, for one reason or another, and I just thought about electric music and dance music, and I just remembered a lot of electric artists, they will put their bass in mono because it's going to be their lead sound. In club environments, it's all about the bounce of it. You aren't going to have people listening to EDM in headphones, because people who are listening on high quality headphones and are listening for that sound quality aren't listening to EDM. But anyways, so this is my instance of Patcher. We have two instances of ProQ. This is just zero latency. One is below 500 hertz, the other is above 500 hertz. Ooh, that should be fixed. 1 second. But then I have an instance of Ozone Imager with the high end, because, like, I still want my track to sound clean. I don't want it to sound like EDM garbage. However, I want it to sound more interesting. I want the bass to pop more. So a better way to do that than to break up the bass and the distortion and put them in like two different realms. Like, you got one all the way out here, and then you got the other right here in your face. That's pretty much a representation of what this is. So I'll go ahead and play this and A/B it so you guys can hear the difference. Like, it kind of sounds like reverb, but not quite reverb. SPL Transient Designer, this is something that just comes in on certain parts of the track to let the kick pump through more. Like, it's not anything I have for tone. Then we have another instance of ProQ that I had just to see all the frequencies and see what to do. In this next plugin, Dynamic Spectrum Mapper. Now, this plugin, it's actually magic. I have no idea what exactly everything does. Like, I see the dynamic stuff, I see all of it, but it's like, it doesn't make sense to me how it sounds so good. Like, I mean, I know it sounds like I'm being paid to do this, but like, I got 200 subs. Who's paying me to praise this plugin this much? This is actually just such a beautiful compressor, kind of an EQ. It's just absolutely insane. So this is what the 808 sounds like with this on it. And this is without it. So this makes it punchier. It makes it so that that distortion comes out more without taking away too much from the sub. It is just absolutely magic. Like, you can look at all the settings here. You could do this with like regular plugins too, but it just wouldn't sound the same because it's not dynamic spectrum mapper. Like, this is one of the most underrated plugins I've ever witnessed. If you have the money for it, you should go out and get it right now because it's just that good. But anyways, so I'll go ahead and do a quick recap of all the tricks I will use. First of all, multi-band distortion. We are no longer just taking the captator and turning up the drive knob. We're turning up the drive knob and making it so that it's only driving in one area of the 808. Then after that, we're going through ProQ using linear phase, boosting that low end and adding some air to the 808. Then a limiter, because limiters actually make 808 sound good. Like, if you're wanting to make your 808 sound a bit different and you don't know what to do, throw a limiter on it and you just did it. Added stereo separation to an 808, and then added dynamic spectrum mapper. Now, I know what you may be thinking. Well, Omega SMG, you just spent about 15 minutes explaining how to process an 808 when you really didn't go into very many whys or any advanced details. And I'm just like, yeah, like, look, I am not a music professor. I'm just someone who spent enough time working on stuff like this to have an idea on what to do. However, I'm not you, so I'm not going to be able to get my own. I'm not going to be able to make your own sound with my 808s. I'm going for my own sound. So, you know, I might as well, speaking of my own sound, since people are semi-curious, I'm going to go ahead and do a little vote. I was not going to do a video on this beat right here. However, this is what we're going to do. If I can get to 10 likes within a reasonable amount of time, of course, I'll do a breakdown of this beat. I will go ahead and let a 16 bar part of it play so that you can decide whether you want it or not. I'll go ahead and do that after my sign out though. So if you like this video, smash that like button, or if you want to see a beat breakdown of this. If you dislike this video, you already know where that button is. If you hate me or you hated this video, make sure you leave a hate comment. It increases my search engine results. It's really helpful. If you want more content like this, subscribe. And this is your boy Omega SMG signing out.